this role, I lead a community of more than 200 data scientists who are globally situated. These commercial constructs could be different in different markets, different countries. It could be different for different product lines. It was a journey of over 2 years to achieve that outcome mindset in every single person in the team.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast series brought to you by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm Sunny Pancholi, and today we have a truly fascinating guest with us, someone who has been pushing the boundaries on usage of data science and AI for improving decision qualities in organizations. Our guest is a leader who is no stranger to the world of big data technologies and artificial intelligence. From steering cutting edge projects in some of the world's most influential companies to navigating complex challenges in the fields of driving data science strategies, organizational mindsets, and scaling capabilities. But, we won't give too much away just yet. So, what we can say is that she brings an incredible blend of technical brilliance, strategic foresight, and a passion for making a real impact on the world. I'm thrilled to introduce Ms. Seema K. Gopal to FaceTime with Leaders. Welcome, Ms. Gopal, and thank you for joining us today. We can't wait to dive into your story.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you very much for inviting me. I want to call out that all the opinions that I'm sharing today are my own, and the opinions I share are not representative of Shell, or I'm not speaking on behalf of Shell, my employer.
All right, okay. So let's dive deeper into your story, and here is my first question to you. So, Ms. Gopal, you have had a remarkable career from pioneering AI solutions at Cognizant to driving digital transformations at Shell. But we all know that success doesn't come overnight. There are moments, decisions, and even challenges that defines the path. So, as someone who has navigated such a dynamic journey, could you share with us a specific turning point that, looking back, helped shape your professional journey?
Yes, sure, Sunny. Thank you. Great question. I think I can relate to 5 turning points in my career that have shaped me to where I am today. I think the first turning point was being selected for an international foundation during my graduation years. It's called Melton Foundation. It exposed me to students from different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds, different thought processes. And at a very young age, I got that global perspective. I got to understand that there are different ways to approach things than what I was probably used to doing. I would say my second turning point was getting into the professional field and right away entering the field of data and analytics from the start. And I started with understanding or having a deep appreciation for technology at that point. And I think that has stood by me all these years. I still, recognize myself as a more technology person fundamentally. Right? And the third turning point, I think, was getting into the challenge of crisis management in complex programs. Right? It was about rescuing complex programs from crisis. It taught me how to be resilient in stressful situations. It taught me how to mobilize forces, how to get people to rally around, at difficult times, and then finally deliver something successfully. The fourth turning point was being asked to set up technology center of excellence in my organization in Cognizant. And it was a multi-year challenge, I can say. I failed spectacularly quite a few times in the beginning. But over the years, then I learned the trick of how do we, scale organizations around niche capabilities. How do you make organizations like these deliver value finally for your clients? And how do you scale these kind of niche capabilities in a setup like that? And it also finally led me to creating the AI or Artificial Intelligence Center of Excellence. This was about 8 years ago. That led me, I think, to my final turning point in my career, which was to join Shell as the general manager for commercial data science capability in finance. So now in this role, I lead a community of more than 200 data scientists who are globally situated. And this exposed me to the world of complex businesses and the financial and commercial acumen required to deal with complex businesses like these, right? And it also exposed me to organizational cultures which invite diverse opinions, which celebrate diversity in the workforce, and they celebrate the culture of speak up. You ask people to speak up even if that's something you don't want to hear, and those are organizational cultures that have now shaped the professional that I am today.
That's such an insightful perspective, Ms. Gopal. It's always inspiring to hear how those pivotal moments shape not just our careers, but also our approach to leadership. I think it's something many of us can relate to, finding clarity in the face of challenges. All right, so heading towards the next question. The organizations you have worked for have been recognized as leaders in digital transformation. So, how did you identify the unique opportunities to drive commercial value through AI and data science? And also, what was the initial challenge you faced in this journey?
Yes, again, a great question. Yeah, and it's an answer that not many organizations have fully solved. It's a problem that not every organization has solved yet. Yeah, but I will not take an example of any one project, but I will talk about three ingredients that are really important in driving value with AI and data science. And these are ingredients that I have worked over the last few years in Shell to try and inculcate into my team as well. The first one is understanding of the business model that you're supporting. Yeah, we all work for certain organization. We think we understand the business model, but as technologists, there is only so much that we probably understand. But it is very, very important to understand the nuances of how is your organization making money finally in the markets, right? And these commercial constructs could be different in different markets, different countries. It could be different for different product lines that you sell or you offer to your clients. So understanding that business model is important for data scientists. If they don't get it right, it is not going to deliver the value that we expect it to deliver. So we've spent a lot of time and effort in getting to understand the businesses as closely as we can. Second one is understanding of the data. Right? I think we all know that data should tell you a story. And the businesses also tell you a story of how they're running their business. But if the data is telling you a story that is different from what your business teams are telling you, then that's showing a blind spot that we as humans have to our businesses. And if your data is telling you that different story, then that's where the data has that opportunity to deliver value, because it's telling you that you're probably missing something that you need to do differently, right? And that's the opportunity that we tap with data science and AI, right? We have to understand what's the story that data is telling us, and then be able to tell that story back to our businesses and say, this is an opportunity you can plug in your business and drive some value. The third key ingredient, right, is connecting with the purpose of your business, right? Understanding business domain is one thing, but connecting with the purpose of your business leaders. Right? We all know what a healthy balance sheet looks like. Yeah, financial report, a balance sheet, the KPIs in your balance sheet, we all understand that. Right? Generally, our organization's going towards that healthy balance sheet. But your business leader could be chasing different KPIs at different point of time. And in different markets, they could be chasing different things. Sometimes you could be chasing a healthy margin. Sometimes you're chasing customer acquisition. Sometimes you're chasing volume. You're chasing different things at different point of time. And as data scientists, it's important to understand the purpose behind what is my business leader trying to accomplish in that particular time period, and is my solution going to cater to that purpose, right? And many a times we miss that understanding of that purpose, right? And then we could be destroying value if we don't really understand. We've seen that in my own organization. We've built a solution that enhanced our margins, but then we realized too late, hey, we were supposed to increase our volumes and not really margin in this particular country. So understanding of the purpose is also very, very important. And so these are three things that we have taken a lot of time and effort in my organization to get it right, to maximize the value that we deliver to our organization.
Ms. Gopal, it's fascinating how those defining moments really shape us, not just as professionals, but as leaders as well. Great. So, Ms. Gopal, you have been at the forefront of driving digital transformation at your current organization, and your team has enabled millions of dollars of value through data science solutions. So that's a massive, massive achievement. So, could you share with us a specific decision that had a noticeable impact on this result? And more importantly, how did you personally navigate the challenges and steer your global team towards creating a culture where shareholder value is prioritized in every digital solution you implement?
Yes, I and my organization are part of the finance group in Shell, right? So our core mandate is to improve commercial decisions, to improve shareholder value. So this is in the DNA of the group. But it's not enough to just, be defined by what your parent organization is chasing. Because a team of data scientists or people who are specializing in AI, they are basically technologists at heart, right? They learn and they love technology in the true sense of that word, and making them understand what is outcome mindset is quite a challenge. Yeah. So 2 years back, we, as part of our strategy, we said, hey, one thing we want to prioritize is to have outcome mindset in every person inside the team. And it was not easy. You cannot, flip a switch and say, I want this, and then it happens the next day. It was a journey of over 2 years to achieve that outcome mindset in every single person in the team, right? And what does that outcome mindset really mean? Right? There are three things there again. So first one is to make everyone understand what constitutes success in their project, right? So the success is not that you delivered an AI model or a dashboard that showed some predictions. The success is the actual outcome of that prediction. Did your businesses actually take some action that delivered a healthy bottom line or a top line result as a outcome of that? And we don't always have the patience to wait for that outcome, and it feels like a distraction sometimes. But making data scientists understand that that is what finally matters is a huge task, but that is a very, very key thing to deliver outcomes. And over the years, the last 2 years especially, we have seen many examples now in my team where people now go after outcomes, not necessarily just outputs. The second one is it's the innate courage to chase outcomes, right? So one is understanding outcomes, but second is the courage to chase outcomes. Because sometimes you're working on solutions that will not deliver the outcome. Once you've understood it, you probably know that if I do something different, this will deliver that outcome much more effectively than what I'm being asked to do. And then that requires the courage to speak up, to challenge your businesses who definitely understand their business better. But you have to be able to challenge them and say that, what, I think delivering this particular solution instead of what you're asking me to do is going to serve your ambition, your goal much better, right? And again, we have seen examples of that happening as well. I feel really proud of my team when I see such examples where they're not just order takers or taking requirements and delivering a solution, but they're chasing the same outcome that our business partners are chasing, right? And then they feel encouraged enough to speak up and challenge when it's required. The third key shift in mindset that we have done to maximize value is when people know and understand that outcome, they can also spot the risks to that outcome much earlier. Yeah, they are not blindsided by the product that they are building. They're looking much ahead and saying, if I build this in this particular way, what is going to be a blocker to me probably 3 months, 6 months down the line from generating value for the organization. And if they're able to spot that, they can actually mitigate those risks much earlier, right? So these are 3 things we've almost perfected. I won't say we are perfect, but we are moving much closer to getting it right in my view.
That sounds truly incredible, Ms. Gopal. And it's not every day we hear about such tangible results from a digital transformation initiative, especially one that impacts the bottom line so significantly. Great. So moving on to next question. In your leadership role, Ms. Gopal, you oversee AI-related risk and compliance. So could you share how you balance the drive for innovation with the responsibility of managing risk, especially with new regulations like the EU AI Act on the horizon?
Yes, I'm the focal for strategic risks from AI in finance organization in Shell. So in my role, I am supposed to make sure I mitigate every risk that comes from these kind of AI-driven products. And how do you mitigate risks? You build controls in place inside your processes to ensure those risks don't come to fruition. I like to think of these controls just like any other financial controls that people may be more familiar with, right? And you can see, regulations in finance, like, your SOX controls and so on. And then we end up implementing these, line of controls in line of defense, 1, 2, 3, right? The first line of defense, second line of defense. The controls in artificial intelligence, data science, I think of these as similar in concept to financial controls. And nobody in any industry likes to deal with controls, right? They always see this as an overhead. They always see this as something that's like an added burden to, on top of their work. And it's no different with data science, right? Trying to mitigate risks through all these controls can be quite demotivating, yeah, or draining for any team. But we definitely have to apply. But we also now going towards the motto of apply but simplify. Yeah, we have to simplify the controls that we apply to mitigate these risks. And the encouraging trend I have seen in Shell, especially, it's very encouraging, is that we were in the past a very risk-averse team, right? We wanted to mitigate every risk possible in every project. But we've now begun this conversation around risk appetite and risk tolerance, yeah, which is a very healthy sign, actually, for when it comes to innovation that you asked about. So technology in the AI and data science space, it's moving rapidly. And when you think of that spectrum of technology in the AI and data science space, there are some that are very mature now over the years. And then there are some like, let's say, generative AI and so on, which are in the emerging space and slowly coming on to the mature space. So in that spectrum, I think we have enough room to define our risk appetite differently at different points of that spectrum. And that's what we are doing. We're saying, hey, if this technology is very mature, then we should not be allowing for so many risks. We should know how to mitigate this and we should get this right. But if these are solutions that are emerging, technologies that are emerging, then we must have some appetite for risk and not really shut it down just because it can be risky. And when it comes to innovation, in Shell, we've got safe environments where people can experiment on new technologies like generative AI. Yes, we are extra cautious when it comes to confidential data, most confidential data, but it still allows them to innovate. And when we do, there is no urgency to scale those solutions until we've shown some value from those experiments, right? So because once you scale a solution, then you're exposing your organization to a lot of risk. And there is no urgency for that. So that's the philosophy we are following at Shell. But when it comes to the world of regulated AI, you mentioned EU AI Act or European AI Act. I think that's a trend we are seeing across the board that every country is now coming up with regulations in AI. Right? Europe was the first one. It's just gone live. And it's a very complex landscape to deal with because the regulations have to be applied not just in what we build as AI applications, but also what we consume as AI applications. A company like Shell or probably any other company in the world, they're also buying a lot of software products from vendors. It could be platforms, it could be applications, software as a service application, and so on. Right? And each of these applications, each of these platforms comes with AI built into it these days. Right? And how do we deal with the risks? How do we ensure that we are compliant with regulations like EU AI Act for what we are buying? So these are very, very complex, I think, landscape now to deal with, and something that organizations are not familiar. We are also learning along the way, and also we are defining the frameworks and policies around AI ethics and how do you control how we build and purchase these kind of solutions from our vendors. So we will learn along the way as we go.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ms. Gopal. It's fascinating to hear how you have managed to drive innovation while also keeping a firm hand on risk and compliance. So moving ahead, Ms. Gopal, you have already broken barriers and carved out a remarkable path in AI and digital transformation. But as you look ahead, how do you see your role evolving in the boardroom? Also, there is a part B to this question. As a woman in tech and leadership, how do you envision leveraging your influence to not only drive innovation, but also pave the way for more women to rise to the top in shaping corporate decisions?
Yes, I think my experience in the last 26 years, I think there are three things that I can contribute to the boardrooms. One is the tips and tricks around how do we fast track or accelerate the value realization from AI and data science projects, right? Many companies are investing a lot of money, but not seeing the kind of success from it immediately. So how do we fast track and accelerate that investment to the return of investment cycle? The second is transforming the organizational behaviors to be more data-driven when it comes to decision making. Yeah? And especially when you're talking about companies which are not digitally native and which are not used to making decisions with fancy dashboards and a lot of data sets and predictive models. They're not used to that. They've run their organization successfully over the years with their business skills, their intuition, and so on. How do you shift organizations like those to be more data driven, to use tools like these to make decisions, right? So that transformation, I think, is something I can bring my learnings to the table there. The third is navigating the world of regulated AI. Right, this is an emerging area. I've had some experience now at Shell with how do you navigate that, and that's another learning that I can bring to other organizations. Regarding your point on women and their role in this space, right? I found women to be great at they have natural skill for mathematics. Right? I have several women in my team who have advanced degrees in mathematics, and they're also able to combine that academic knowledge with technology, applying those mathematical skills on complex data sets, and then converting them into very sensible insights for businesses. Right? So they're able to marry the three things very seamlessly. So, and remember, these are women who are probably in few years' time going to be on top of the corporate ladder in some company, making very critical decisions for their organizations. right? So I think these are women we have to encourage to apply those their natural abilities to make decisions. And if you think about it, this is what the boards need today, right? The boardrooms need people who can use data to make decisions, very robust decisions. And these decisions are not just made on guessworks or instinct, but made on hard data. So I think women are very natural candidates when it comes to very robust decision making.
I love how you emphasize the importance of not only breaking barriers, but also paving the way for the next generation of women leaders. The way you balance ambition with creating a more inclusive future is exactly what the corporate world needs. All right. So, heading to the next question, with your leadership in AI, compliance, and risk management, Ms. Gopal, how do you see the intersection of AI and ESG in the coming years? And how can companies ensure that AI initiatives align with sustainable practices?
Yes, I think every company is talking about ESG and chasing the ESG goals. Yeah, AI is, I think, a great enabler for ESG. In Shell, we use AI in many ways as well. But just as an example, if you are a manufacturing company or you've got products that you sell, AI is a great way um, to to uh, to cut short your research and development R&D cycles, to change the material that you use in your product to have lower carbon footprint, or you reduce your manufacturing cycles with the help of AI. So there are many ways you can accelerate that sustainability goal or environment related goals with your products by using AI in that space, right? Of course, if you're in any other business model, let's say pharmaceutical or any other, you can always use AI to accelerate your research and development cycles, right? And we've seen that in Shell as well. The other aspect is governance. AI has been a natural fit when it comes to controls. In Shell as well, we've seen the application of AI in regulations and controls. It's much better than a human being at spotting anomalies in your transactions or in your business data, right? So it's a enabler when it comes to governance as well. But remember, AI itself, if AI is helping us govern the organization, AI also needs governance. It needs to be explainable, it needs to be responsible, and it needs to be ethical. Yeah, AI needs to do all of these. So while AI is helping us govern the organization, we also need to be able to govern AI. And that's where the organizations are, like I was saying earlier, have set up AI ethics policies and frameworks. We've done that in Shell as well. And these frameworks help you control how you build AI, how you make sure that these AIs are, they don't go rogue, or they don't lead you to non-compliance in these kind of regulated environments. So yes, overall, a great enabler for ESG goals.
Rightly said, Ms. Gopal, and it's amazing to hear how AI can actually drive sustainability rather than just efficiency. All right, so that brings us to the last question. Ms. Gopal, you have joined Directors Institute. So could you share with us how your experience has been so far? And in what ways do you feel the Institute is helping you further hone your leadership skills, especially in the context of digital transformation and governance?
Yes, organizational dynamics have been, a pet topic for me. I've been fascinated by all my experiences in my past years to understand that, and the content and material that Directors Institute provided me, and especially their live sessions, exposed me to a lot of those organizational dynamics that happen at boardrooms, right, which I was not familiar with. And it was a fascinating journey to understand what really goes on in boardrooms. And it also reinforced, what I do at work, which is, it reinforced the importance of decision making at the highest levels, right? I've never seen that in action, but going through that course reinforced that point to me, and it made me understand how important tools like AI or data science can be for organizations to make those critical decisions. So I think that has been a very fascinating learning experience with Directors Institute.
And it's fascinating to hear how the Institute's program are helping define your approach, Ms. Gopal. So, Ms. Gopal, your insights today have been nothing short of inspiring. It's clear that your leadership in digital transformation and AI is paving the way for the future, and your passion for driving innovation while ensuring responsibilities is truly remarkable. On behalf of Directors Institute, thank you for sharing your journey with us. We are excited to see how you continue to shape the world of AI and compliance, and we wish you even greater success in all your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, Sunny. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about my learning and my experiences.
Thank you so much. And to the lovely audiences watching this, that wraps up today's episode of FaceTime with Leaders. We hope you have enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable perspectives on how technology, leadership, and innovation are converging in today's world. Join us next time as we bring you more stories from the trailblazers who are making an impact. Until then, keep leading with purpose and continue to push boundaries in your own journey. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you.